Shut up and sit down.
Now we are.
Okay, cool. So that was going earlier.
Yeah, that's...
Must have just quit out.
It's whatever. Keep an eye on it. We'll hear it. Anyways, keep talking, man. My bad.
Yeah, so warrior transition course. So the Army back then, like this is 05, 06, the height of the war in Iraq, you know, the gear up 07, maybe it was that time frame. Anyway, the Army was handing out cash to combat arms jobs like combat engineers, infantry guys, whatever, like $25,000, $35,000 bonuses. So guys that were getting out from other branches were kind of jumping on board with the National Guard and Army Reserve and all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I was one of those dudes because I'd gotten out of the Coast Guard. They had a $25,000 bonus for combat engineers, and so yeah, I signed up for like a 6-year stint. But they had some program going on, so I was supposed to go to boot camp, but I got sent to a warrior transition course since I was prior service. Mm-hmm. And what warrior transition course was, it was like a condensed boot camp. Like I think it was 6 weeks as opposed to 8, and it's because everyone there was prior service and they knew how to do uniforms and blah blah blah, you know. So it was just an intro into the Army. You could skip some of the basics, you know, like uniform maintenance and shit like that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do any of that because all the guys knew, which was kind of cancerous, by the way.
Dude, where'd I put that fisheye, by the way? I was gonna see if I can link it into this. You think it looks alright?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's alright.
And so
we'll see. We'll get feedback. Keep talking.
Yes.
Sorry, man.
So the fuckery with the warrior transition course was that, well, first off, they didn't even know where to do it. So it was like in Fort Seal, Oklahoma, Santa Fe, New Mexico, White Sands Missile Range. I mean,
nope, you're good. Keep talking.
In 6 weeks, I think I stayed at 4 different posts or something. I can't even remember. But it was like a ragtag put together thing, right? And it failed eventually, and I think they got rid of the programming because it was stupid. But we're at the grenade range, and if you could imagine, gun ranges are real serious in the military. You have NCOs running them, you know, because of the safety and stuff like that. Well, grenade ranges and any explosive ranges, that gets heightened sometimes even more. Mm-hmm. Live demo, stuff like that. And so the cadre actually walk out to the foxhole with you. Now, so if you can imagine, when you're waiting, you can't see the grenade range. So imagine you're standing in the desert, and in front of you, like, I don't know, 50 yards is this huge concrete wall that's like 8 feet high, and there's a tower on it, and that concrete wall is just solid, and you can't see anything past it. And guys go to the edges of those walls and then get walked around to the range, right? So they get walked around into the foxhole to throw the grenades. They get a demo on how to pull the pin. You practice. They show you exactly where to throw it. There's a target. There's a cadre, like an Army sergeant right there with you.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there like fucking cattle, like everything else in the Army, waiting, and guys are going on the grenade range. And we're bullshitting because we're kind of waiting on deck. We're not even up to the wall yet. We're like back there eating MREs and jacking off. So all of a sudden we hear this fucking frantic screaming. Like, ah! And part of the wall explodes. This dude had turned around in the foxhole and threw a live fucking grenade. This was no shit. This was at Santa Fe.
This is friendly fire.
Yeah, White Sands Missile Range. White Sands Missile Range, 2007 or 8, something like that. CID was. We might have bled over onto El Paso's base. What's that base on? Anyway, it was a grenade range down there. So this motherfucker turns around for no reason, lobs the grenade at the edge of the wall. Luckily, there was a cadre that kind of herds the guys against the wall, right? Like, no, you ain't going yet, blah, blah, blah. He's on the end there watching what's going on.
Yeah.
It blew that dude's eardrum out. Like, so it was an insane scene, and they locked everything down. They got that kid. We were out there for all fucking day. CID did this big investigation, and the kid said that like he didn't know. Like, he just lost his train of thought or what he was doing. But that was bullshit, because it was too easy. You could teach my dog would have known which way if I thrown the bone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was obviously just some psychotic rant. It was insane, though. And that,
dude, that's crazy.
that was
man.
one of the, yeah, dude.
Dude, I've never had a grenade.
The
thrown
warrior
around me.
transition course was a complete failure, and that was probably one of their black eyes, I imagine.
Dude, I had a buddy who got shot in training, man, and he got like honorably discharged, and they gave him a full retirement. John, don't say his last name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He got shot like in live fire during boot camp. They gave him like a full retirement, like a full 30-year retirement through boot camp. This dude fought it through courts. He came from a family where like, I want to say his dad sold their company in like Nebraska for like a lot, like 30 million or 32 million, some crazy number, dude. Might not be that much. It could be a little less than that, but in the tens of millions, dude, for sure. How about this guy? Get it, Dodge, get it. Everybody on this is gonna see my fucking road rage. Yeah, about this dude. He knows he's got to merge. She knows she's got to merge. She's a mom on a mission. She's like, I've got 2 hours. I'm paying this babysitter $30 an hour because she's feeding the kids. She's taking care of them. She's breastfeeding one of them. All organic. The girl doesn't even she adheres to our milk and peanut allergies.
You know where we need to go, dude?
You know how hardcore
and hang out sometime is where I used to be stationed. I'd like to go to Savannah,
Georgia.
Yeah, I love it there.
You know what, man? I've got
and like
hella
Charleston, South
connections.
Carolina.
Well, I've got connections all over there.
Yeah, I got some friends on the coast still from the Coast Guard. But Savannah's an awesome town, dude. Down on the river. The only problem is we used to call it when Rangers attack. It was like, so they have this place called River Street, and you can, it's like New Orleans, I think you can drink on the street anyway in Savannah. It's all just bars, like a Wet Willie's, they got everything. Piano bars, all this bullshit. There's army bases everywhere down there, and then everything else, all the other branches, but we used to call it, we were coasties at the time, but when we go to Savannah and hang out, we'd sit back and you could like time it when army guys attack, kind of when the bars are closing down, and they'd always be in groups of like 8. It was just bouncing people left and right. It was a little bit of chaos. Those military towns are kind of known for that.
They're probably a little crazy.
And they're always fighting each other.
Sure.
It's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Dude, in Charleston is a cool town. Myrtle Beach is a little too much for me, but like just to be there during not spring break, I love it.
At spring break.
Yeah,
dude, it was pretty crazy, man. In fact, I don't really remember it, but I just remember it being crazy.
Yeah, I had a buddy that was from there, and we took leave once and stayed there for a while.
Yeah, my friends.
But it was non-spring break, and I liked it because I'm just not the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, party guy.
I could for like an hour and a half now, and I'd be like, I'm over it.
Well, I was like in college. Is that a cop right there? Spotlight and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Getting with it.
Totally.
So undercover.
He's at the fuzz.
I miss
in
riding
an undercover
motorcycles,
towel.
man. Yeah, looks like a cop.
Oh, so to tell you the story about the Navy guys and their whites.
Yeah.
So like I'm in the Coast Guard. This is 2001 or 2, right after 9/11, and I was on this interim Marine Security Strike Team, and it was like the development team of what became the Marine Security Strike Teams in the Coast Guard, which does counterterrorism, LPG tankers and stuff like that, big sea festivals.
Sure.
So, but the funny thing was, we never had no like really good training for it or anything, but like they allocated some money for it, so we had like, bro, we looked like these elite fucking high, like just SWAT styled, like just all black gear, fucking machine gunned out. It was rad. We had cool shit, gray boats, and like I remember,
Rambo shit.
Yeah, dude. And I remember being at the Rose Festival in Portland, and we were patrolling right down where all the boats are, and there's Navy boats that line up there.
Sure.
And we would go against the boardwalk or the street that's right there, because we were spotlighting under stuff, looking for, at that time it was a different country back then because of the terrorism threat. So like big events like that, I mean, it's still serious, but that was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
So we're down there, dude, and we look like absolute badasses, right?
Yeah.
And there's this grip of girls, because there's these restaurants and bars, and they're at the fucking, and they're waving at us to come over. And we're like, oh, all right. Yeah, we're going to hook up with these chicks. And they're like,
smash, bro.
hey, have you guys seen any of the Navy dudes in their whites? And we're all just like, what the fuck? And no shit, they just...
You seen the dudes rocking anal beads?
Yeah.
Is that what they were asking?
I was like, what in the fuck? It was bullshit, but
that's crazy.
It
so
holds
then
true.
what does Coast Guard wear?
Well, that was so when those Navy guys were getting off
Navy guys have their whites, right?
That's like their dress, yeah. So that's like,
and then there's the blues.
Yeah.
Who does the blues? Air Force.
Yeah, and the Coast Guard, yeah.
Oh, okay, and the Coast Guard.
Yeah, Navy has like a blue dress too, like a formal. They've got a few different.
So with the Coast Guard, is it independent or is it like a sector, kind of like how the Marines are part of like the Navy, right?
So the Coast Guard in time of war, well, they're Department of Homeland Security, but they've always fell under the Department of Defense at the time of war. A lot of people don't know during World War II, there were like 200 and something thousand Coast Guardsmen. The Coast Guardsmen were the ones that took the Marines in the Pacific a lot of times. The only Medal of Honor winner in the Coast Guard, Douglas Monroe, was actually killed. I think, I can't remember what island it was, but Douglas Monroe, taken in, he saved a bunch of Marines getting them out of this firefight. But yeah, that's Coast Guard's only...
They've only had one medal.
But they have this weird thing, so like when you see
really really small, right?
Yeah.
You're talking like...
And when you see the people have a misconception too, when they see Navy boats hauling in drugs on like CNN or something, the Navy didn't make that. The Navy didn't bust that. There is a Coast Guard tacklet team on that ship, right? And what happens is since the Coast Guard has what, in the federal law land, jurisdiction and authority, and the Navy doesn't, in like non-wartime stuff, what happens is a Coast Guard lieutenant or ensign will relieve the commander of a Navy frigate, and they'll raise the Coast Guard flag, and then they'll send over a Coast Guard boarding team to actually search for narcotics and that stuff. So when you see it on Navy boats, there's actually a Coast Guard tacklet team because they have the authority to actually go do that law enforcement. So the Coast Guard's super small and really squared away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because there's no room for shitbags. So...
And they're funded by Homeland Security.
Correct.
Whereas the other branches of the military
Department of Defense.
The Department of Defense.
It's all the same kind of pool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but who else does the department... Who else does Homeland Security fund? Are there any other departments that are big? Like, kind of like the Coast Guard?
You got to think now, the Department of Homeland Security is going to cover all federal agencies.
So FBI,
and intelligence.
CIA...
Oh, yeah, they're all tied in,
But
right?
that's all different, though, than the Department of Defense. So you're on a different budget. So you guys are grouped into a different niche of, like, I guess, like, you guys are
the Coast Guard budget?
Into, like, an intelligence kind of a thing. Versus, or, like, an internal, like, a federal national budget versus, like, an international budget?
Well, the Coast Guard...
I don't know how that works, man.
Well, I think they got a really, really good influx of money after 9/11, and the reason being is
and I don't know if
they just had to intensify
involved.
Everything on the borders. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, on the water...
FBI Files is a great show, though. So when I think, like, anything that's related to, like, the FBI, CIA, and, like, that's all alien shit. That's a lot of the black budget stuff is all, like... kind of funneled through, I'm going to assume, that budget, right?
Yeah, if you tried to put a thumb on exactly how all that money's allocated,
fucking crazy down here. Should I just park in a garage?
Yeah.
Should I just park up here in the garage next to Jump? It'll probably be like I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's probably like $5 or $10. Nothing, dude. But what we can do is we can park there and then we can just walk to 8th, or we can walk down Main and hit Whiskey.
Cool.
In fact, let's just park and then let's see what's going on downtown. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best bet. So maybe we can park we should probably park on this corner over here, so I'll wrap around.
Yeah, I was actually friends with the first Coast Guardsman killed in action since Vietnam. His name was Nathan Bruckenthal, yeah. So I went...
Why is that? It's just because they're just like...
So he was on a tackle team.
Should probably get in that fucking car.
But the Coast Guard's got its fingers in other stuff, too, in South America and narcotics stuff. And during the big Iraq, like, when all that was kicking off, there was a lot of weapons being transported on the water, okay? And the Coast Guard tackle teams were over there busting those fuckers all the time. And Nathan, I went to the Coast Guard's Federal Law Enforcement Academy with Nathan, which was 6 or 7 weeks or 5 weeks, I can't remember, in Yorktown, Virginia. And Nathan was my roommate. I actually went to Washington, D.C. with him on a weekend when we had leave and hung out with him. Good kid. But what happened was they were over there doing those interdictions, looking for, smuggling weapons and explosives into the fighters. And they had busted a bunch. I think his team had actually had stuff on the news, and I mean they were doing a bang up job over there, and they got hit by a V-bid, or a B-bid, a boat, IED basically, it killed him, and I think it took out 2 Navy guys. So a lot of people don't know that, or maybe they were Marines, but the Coast Guard has a pretty good relationship with the Marine Corps. And that really stems from World War II. I even think the Marines, out of all the branches, I think cover their history the best. Mm-hmm. And the Coast Guard might be up there, but I know the Marines are real proud of their history, and I almost think that I think I've had some Marines tell me that they touch on the Coast Guard in their history. I don't know. But the Coasties were the ones that were driving them in and out on the Pacific runs, so on those islands.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Are these guys crossing? What's going on? Yeah.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor. Yeah, that dude from fucking Manchester. The first thing I thought was like, Manchester United. Hope I'm not gonna get hit. It's hard to see when there's like a bunch of people walking across the street.
Yeah, like just bouncing around the fucking road.
Come on, people, get the fuck out of the road. That's why people die. That's why people get hit. That's why there's a fatality rate. You become a statistic at that point. Like, garage full. Fuck that. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah. What about the one off of like Chicago Connection? That one.
Ooh, yeah, like Main and 6th or something like that. Yeah.
That one might still be
Maybe I'll
open.
just follow the people in front of us. They're probably fucking the same. They're probably pissed. Purple People Eater, it's a 10-stair rail, man.
That's why going
it and 8.
Dude, getting me down here is a fucking nightmare. But just for this reason only, I'm just like,
sucks, man. That's why I hate going downtown. Especially on the like one night that it's nice out, like the first nice day.
Yeah, even if you go to the Village and you got to park half a mile away, it's still just like nothing to walk there.
Well, it's just a pain in the ass, man. Yeah, exactly. It's nothing because that lot's huge, dude. But that's like kind of the whole.
Yeah, they need something else there. Like
you're still walking a quarter mile, just doesn't feel that far because it's kind of like driving through your city for like 40 minutes.
I don't know why Meridian doesn't do something like Ybor City does outside of Clearwater or something like that, where you build like a bench of cool restaurants and bars.
Yeah.
Just a street of them.
Right.
Because they got the money.
Well, we do. It's Main Street. This dude's swerving all over the place. Either he needs to get off his phone or get off the fucking
pipe.
Like bottle or the pipe. Like, chill, homie. I'm gonna follow him, make him all fucking nervous. Dude, he's like swerving all over the place, dude.
Maybe
look at this guy. He's faded. At least I won't get pulled over, and if I do, I'll be like, "Yo, y'all are missing some shit." Can I park
think,
right here?
Oh no. But there might be some of those spots right in by China Blue too. That open parking lot, remember? I bet you that thing ain't full yet because it's still early. That's a good spot.
But yeah. I mean, it's what, $5 for the night or something like that.
Something.
Yeah, get after it, Subi. Get it.
I had some dude like try to run me off a road in a truck. Like had all this road rage. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, dude. Like,
first off, you're 200 pounds and you're 5'4". So,
It's like Napoleon.
You're gonna give yourself a heart attack.
That's what they call
And
it.
then what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? What's the goal?
What are you gonna do? Fight me?
Yeah,
We had this conversation.
Are we gonna
today,
pull
'cause,
over and then bark at each other,
Yeah.
and then someone's gonna be like, "Rah."
Dude, we were in that adventure hunt today, and like, this guy asked us for directions. We're like, dude, we're actually not even there yet, man. We're like on the step right before you, I think, because we're looking for this. And he's like, oh yeah, it's over there. And he points in the opposite direction of where it's at. And it took us like 30, 40 minutes. And that's when we dropped from like number 6 out of 40 to like number 9. Because that dude fucked us over for like 30 minutes. Because we were like, we're within, so many feet, but it was on the other side of the river. And so he fucked us over. Well, my brother called him out. And he said the guy was all trying to pretend like he didn't know what he was talking about. And I was like, did he try to like be a dick or like a douche? And he's like, no, man, he just tried to pretend like he didn't know what I was talking about. And I was like, yeah, well, fuck that guy. Like, next time I see him, I'm going to call him out. And I'm going to tell him if he wants to fight, I'll fight him.
Change your socks.
Change your socks, dude.
What did you say to me? I told you to change your socks, motherfucker.
And what's going to happen is I'm going to fucking steal his shoes and run. That's all I'm going to do.
He said, I got stinky feet, mama.
Dude, how about downtown is a goddamn shit show. There's nowhere to park, bro.
Try that,
there is a spot to park right here. Fuck yeah, bro. I was a little aggressive, but sometimes you gotta be a little aggressive.
Yeah, on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull up just a tent. Get a little closer to the curb. Something.
Nice to get some fresh air.
Drunk assholes. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt I just get a ticket just because they're like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna give him a ticket. Thanks for listening, everybody. Peace out.